Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna be talking about something that it's a bit personal for me, but at the same time I feel like everyone goes through it, and I just kind of want to share my experience on the medication that I will be talking about, but also how I've been kind of dealing with acne for so long. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. Right, so my acne started probably when I was maybe 14, 15 years, maybe when I was 13 years old. But you know, I would get like the spot here and there, nothing too severe, and it was fine. Eventually, like, they would go away within, like, you know, just a few days. But I feel like it didn't start to get really bad until I was probably 16. I'm 21 for reference right now, but as you can see, it's been quite a few years that I've been kind of dealing with acne, but going back to being 16, that's when I was like at my worst per se, and it was kind of when I realized that it was something bigger in a way. Like, I would get them constantly, and then they would stay on my face for longer, and it was just really bad, just because I've always kind of had like cystic acne, where like you don't really get like the white bubble per se, where you can just like easily pop them, which, by the way, do not pop them. I know it sounds so cliche, and I know that everyone's like, don't pop them, but like, for real, don't pop them. And I'll get into that here in a sec, but please do not pick your acne. Don't, just don't, especially with your dirty hands. Love. Do yourself a favor and please do not touch your acne. And I'll definitely make sure to insert some pictures here and there as I talk about, you know, how my acne was throughout the years. But I remember that it didn't hit me, and that I actually needed to, you know, seek some, you know, help with, you know, a dermatologist, and go about it, just because I knew that my acne was just constantly getting worse. And it was just really bad, just because I obviously had never experienced anything like that, and it definitely took a toll on my confidence and how I like saw myself in the mirror. I know it's kind of getting a little deep, but acne is pretty shitty. I know that everyone who goes through it, especially individuals like myself who don't get, like, you know, the regular pimples here and there, where we actually have like hormonal acne, you know, and all that comes with like cystic acne and all that, like it did with me. It definitely does take a toll on your confidence, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, obviously none of us chose to have acne. It's a thing, and we just, over time you learn how to live with it, but it's definitely something that you wish you just didn't have in the first place. But you know what? Mama didn't raise no bitch, so I'm gonna continue being that bad bitch forever, love. And so are you, love. Period. Anyways, so I remember that my acne got to a point where like I literally feel so bad that even my parents were like, really like, okay, we definitely need to take you to a dermatologist. That was, again, around the age of 16, and I know that I was in Europe at the time, and that's when like my acne started like purging, like coming out of nowhere. And I was just like, really, out of all the times, you picked the time where I'm like out here living my best life. I was in Paris the day that, also, you guys, like, it's so weird how I'll try my best to find pictures of like the time frame, but like before I left for Europe, my skin, yeah, it did have a few pimples, but nothing as severe. But as soon as I got to like, my first stop was like Paris, y'all, my acne was like, I'm here and I'ma fuck your shit up. So I was like, ooh, Jesus. But, you know, I put my shit together and I was like, you know what, whatever, like, I'm not gonna let this affect the rest of my trip. So I had a blast in Europe. I came back to my city, and that's when I first went to see a dermatologist. At first, you actually have to go through your family's doctor, so they actually prescribe you with some sort of like antibiotics for acne, and then if your acne is still as severe as it is, then that's when they like kind of refer you to a dermatologist. So basically that's what happened. I took antibiotics for like 3 months, nothing worked for me, so then they, you know, obviously refer my situation to a dermatologist here in my city, and that's when I was first put on into Epuris, which is, you know, the Canadian brand name of Accutane in the US, but at the end of the day, the main component in both of them is ISOTRETINOIN or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it down here. So I go into my appointment with this dermatologist here in my city, and he immediately was like, yeah, we're gonna put you on Accutane, and I'm like, okay, cool. At that time I did not know what Accutane was. Again, I guess I kind of did know because I've done some research on like acne, and you know, some people do actually take this medication for their as their treatment, but I still wasn't aware of like a lot of things with Accutane, Epuris or whatever. So, you know, I spoke to him. He sent me to get some blood work done because this treatment is very strong to the body, let's just say that, in many aspects. There's a lot of side effects, such as dry skin all the time, lips, face, body, your scalp also. What else? There's like lower back pain, or I guess these are some of the side effects that I experienced, like lower back pain, you know, dryness, joint pain at some point. What else? I feel like those were like the major ones that I can remember off the top of my head right now that I went through. But going back to like the having to do some, you know, blood work done beforehand, it's just because they need to check your hormonal levels. They need to check a lot of like enzymes as well in your body, so that they know that you're good to go. And you have to do this blood work every single month, just because again, it's a very strong pill medication, you know, that you just need to constantly review how your body is doing, just to avoid any harsh, you know, I guess damage to specifically your liver, because that's where, like, you know, the medication gets processed. And obviously when you're on this pill, you can't drink alcohol. And for you all ladies, you definitely cannot get pregnant. It's literally like they almost kind of like make you sign like a contract, not really, but like of where you are aware that you must, or I guess you cannot get pregnant whatsoever. You just can't get pregnant. Otherwise, there's a very high percentage that your baby will be at some point deformed, and you know, it's just not going to work, and you're just going to have a really bad pregnancy. So yes, you cannot get pregnant when you're on this medication, because again, it's really strong. And yeah, obviously you can only get it with a prescription. That's why you have to go through a dermatologist, have them examine you and see if it's good, and then see if you're eligible for this treatment. So after I got everything, you know, with the blood work done and everything, and he saw that I was like eligible to take this pill, I did, and I did for 4 months. And every time you take this pill, they have what they call it comes with this purging state where like it gets really bad before it gets better. Like it's kind of like the way, like the way of the medication kind of like pushing everything bad out, so that it starts to get better. But y'all, when I tell you that it gets bad, it gets bad. I don't say this to discourage anyone from like taking this medication, but I feel like it's something that you should know prior to taking it. It will get worse before it gets better. It's not with all everyone in all cases, just because I do have one friend who is also taking this medication, and he hasn't had any like purging state. He didn't really had any purging state. So it doesn't happen with everyone, but it has happened with me and with the other individuals who I watched their video on like YouTube when I was like first learning about this, you know, medication. And after this 4-month period, I guess you could say that my acne was vanished in a way. All I was left up was with some hyperpigmentation and a bit of scarring, but that was it. So I went about my life, you know, and it wasn't until after 5 months post, you know, me taking this pill, after the 4-month period, that I noticed that my acne started coming back, and I was just like, wow. Just like, wow, wow, wow. So again, I go back with him. This time I speak with another dermatologist because at that time he was, I don't know, like holidays or something like that. Again, she puts him back on Accutane for 4 months one more time, and again I go through the same cycle. I go through like the purging state, it gets bad, slowly but surely it gets better, and then it gets to, you know, a place where again it's vanished. But then again, another 5 months, usually 5 to 6 months pass by, and my acne starts to come back. And mind you, the first time and second time that I took it I was on 40 mg all throughout. And at that point, I was just like, yikes, like I just don't know. And also, that's when I decided personally to switch dermatologists, just because the 2 dermatologists that I had spoken prior at that clinic were, I'm not saying that they were bad, it was just that I'm not sure if they were just too busy or what it was, but literally my appointments would only last like deadass, like 5 minutes the tops. And I was just like, I just felt like I never had the time to like engage with them and kind of like tell them how I was feeling, or them to answer like to the full extent all of the questions that I had. So I decided to give it a try with a different dermatologist for this time. And it was literally the best decision that I could have ever made, just because me and my homegirl right now, my dermatologist, she's just amazing. Just like her treatment towards me as her patient, she really does seem to be a caring, you know, dermatologist, and I just felt that. Like I just felt a good vibe from her, and I just was much more confident being under her wing than, you know, being with someone that I just wasn't quite comfortable being with. So again, I saw her last year. That's when I started like my treatment with her. It was last year in 2020. And of course, obviously she examined my acne, and she definitely went ahead and put me back on Epuris for 40 mg, and for the length of, I believe, 6 months it was with her. And so I did. So I also did forget to mention that it's a pill that you take every single day. So just wanted to put that out there too. And so I did, you know, again, I went through the purging state. My acne got really, really, really bad. Again, I'll be inserting some pictures here and there. It got really bad. Eventually it started getting better. So, you know, that was nice. But I also noticed that I was getting acne in places where I usually didn't get, which was around like my chest area. Obviously, like I would show it, but like I would get acne around here. And eventually it did went away, but it left some hyperpigmentation, which had never happened before. So I was kind of like concerned. Obviously she did prescribe me some topical creams for hyperpigmentation. I forgot the name, but I believe it's called Phoenicia. And of course I do plan to make a separate video talking about in specific about all of the products that I use while being on Epuris, just so that everyone's, you know, aware of what products you could potentially give it a try if you get put onto this treatment, just so that you know, you at least have an idea of what products to kind of look for, depending on obviously like the side effects that you may personally experience. That being said, I finished my 6-month period with her, and over the summer I've noticed that everything was fine with me. All I had was, again, hyperpigmentation around my cheek area and some scarring, but nothing too major, and obviously like the hyperpigmentation around my chest area. But with the Phoenicia, this topical cream that kind of like fades away the redness, was kind of working with me, and everything was like slowly but surely kind of like fading away. And it wasn't until probably maybe, yes, I believe it was probably in December. No, what am I saying? It was probably in November, sorry, of 2020 that I've noticed that I was getting like more pimples. Nothing as severe as before. It was just like, you know, one here and there, and then it would kind of like take them, you know, more than usual per se to go away. But then again, I'm also in university, and that was kind of like during like, you know, the midterm season, so I was kind of like stressed and all that, so that was kind of, I feel like, the reason that I was triggering. But needless to say, I went ahead and booked an appointment with her. I talked to her, and she decided to put me back on Accutane just because she wanted to kind of like make sure that we don't let it get to the point where it's kind of like, okay, it's a really bad, it might get really bad again if I put you back on Accutane. So she kind of like wanted me to start taking it right away, but this time I am taking it, and I'm at 40 mg, and I take it not every day, I take it every second day, just to avoid the excess of my skin being dry, therefore more acne coming out per se, and kind of like avoiding that purging state. So that's what we are doing right now. I'll get close. This is how my skin looks like right now. I don't have any, because usually I would wear a tinted moisturizer, but right now I just have a regular moisturizer and some sunscreen, but that's about it. This is how like my cheek area looks like. As you can see, there's definitely some scarring, but other than that, there's not much redness as I used to have. Here on this side, this one's not an active pimple. I had it last week, but it's obviously dead now, deceased, thank God. But it is red, but obviously that would kind of fade away with the Phoenicia cream that I have. Also on my forehead, I don't have much problems going on my forehead or my chin. So one more time, this is how my skin currently looks like. And like I've said throughout this video, I'll definitely be putting as many pictures as I can, just so you guys know that I've definitely come a long way, and I'm really happy where I am right now. So yeah, that's kind of basically like my story with acne, how it kind of started, what I've been kind of going through in order to get to where I am right now. Eventually I do plan to get micro needling because I have gotten it beforehand, and it does work with the scarring and a little bit of the redness, but it is something that it's quite expensive to get, and you do need multiple sessions. So, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, saving up the time, you know, just for when the time is right. I'll definitely go ahead and do it, but for now I'm happy with my skin. It wasn't like I wasn't ever happy with my skin, but obviously, like I said, I can't sugarcoat anything. Sometimes it would like in a way bring me down, but then again, it is what it is. And you know what, at the end of the day, don't let anyone bring you down. I know this sounds so cliche, but honestly, don't let anyone bring you down. But most importantly, don't bring you down, because sometimes we are the only ones who see our flaws. Sometimes people don't really even give a fuck, or maybe they're not even aware about shit, but sometimes we're the only ones who we feel like, or I guess that we point our flaws out, and it's just not healthy, it's not good. Take therapy, again, side note. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any more questions about you know, my journey, about how everything was with, you know, this pill, and how it is kind of going right now, because I am still currently on this pill, please go ahead and leave it down in the comments down below, or if you'd like to reach me out privately on my social media, go ahead. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new to my channel, please, I'll suggest if you'd like to go ahead and click the subscribe button down below, just because I do post videos every single Sunday, although I kind of missed last Sunday, but you know, I'm back. And yeah, without further ado, I'll just see you in my next video. Bye.